one. It's one that makes you want to stay, not makes you want to run.
Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, today back on the Harley, number 2 in the series. I want to get this stuff stripped as I did in the last one, but it took me 8 hours to get through it. I honestly didn't realise there was so much of it. Probably see by looking at that old heap of ting on the table there, that has changed a little bit. All of the little Celtic motifs and keepsakes, they've been claimed by new people. They've gone to good homes, so thank you for that. That's done the right thing by them. No way chucking those away. They had to go to somebody who appreciated them, so that's all done. You can see what's left though is the parts. The parts have been taken off of this. The chrome is past its sell-by date. It's flaking off and peeling. They're not as nice as they once looked, and I really don't like chrome parts anyway. I want to take all that off this and go sleek and minimal. So if you want any of that stuff, it is a way hopefully to fund this build. I'm going to be buying some parts for this. Harley parts and aftermarket Harley parts are not cheap, so I want to be kind of funding it away if I can. That leather Corbin Gunfighter saddle, pillion, backrest, the whole lot, that has value, plus a lot of the chrome parts. You could get them vapor blasted, sandblasted, get the chrome off, get them powder coated, and they are perfectly serviceable parts in every way, so they still have a use. But if you just make a small gesture, an offer, stick something in a tip cup and then cover the postage, we'll send them to you, and it helps us to move forward and fund this thing, get it off the bench by March, because I've got a bigger, better project planned, hopefully, for the spring. But this thing is for now. So today I want to carry on getting the rest of that stuff off, all the chrome bits and pieces, the stuff around the back end, get that stripped down so it looks like it should. Once all that's off, strip the bars off and then look at the first little fabrication job I've got planned for this build. So let's get stuck in. Little trick if it helps you. These Allen screws have probably been in there for 19 years and don't look like they've ever been out. Not rusted as such, but the heads of them are full of kind of polish and cack and a little bit of corrosion. And you put these little tiny Allen keys in and then you try and twist on that, it's very easy to mince it out. So a little trick for you is get a little toffee hammer and just tap it in. It will go all the way in and you'll feel when it will touch base, because it will go solid and be more of a hard metallic ping. There it is. And then all you need to do, use it like an impact driver so you don't mince this head out and then having to remedy it by drilling it out or center punching it or something. Just push on it in an undoing motion, so in this case counterclockwise, and while you put the load on it, just tap it at the same time. And it just comes undone every time. All the way to base first, and then just lean on it and tap while you lean. There we are. Save yourself a whole heap of grief. Don't you love ramming your hands in around rusty sheet metal? Rusty bolts, rusty screws, rusty sheet metal, raw edges, loads of fun, and all part of doing up an old bike, and great proof that it's never been apart in its whole life. All this is factory assembled. Those threads went in there in 1999 and they didn't come out till today. That fender has never been off. I've got to clean up inside it because it's got about 15 tons of hardcore up inside it from all those years and 45,000 miles. So I'm going to clean that up, clean this up, lubricate these threads because I've got to order the new fasteners. These are imperial fasteners and I don't have any of these. I've only got metric stainless, so I'll put these back in. They've even got the original factory thread lock, that red bit on there. Can you see that? Oh, I don't know, that bit there, probably not, but that's the proof that they're all there, all original. And I'm just going to put them back in loosely for now. I'm just going to put the fender back in because I want to be able to stand back and check out the look of what I'm doing here. And I don't want that kicking all over the garage for the next 2 or 3 months, getting scratched and damaged. We'll see what the paint works like as well, because that will dictate whether I paint the whole thing or not. The tank's nice, there's a couple of chips on it. That looks like there's some flakage around the front raw sheet metal, but that can be stabilised and made good, and you can still keep the factory paint. You don't necessarily have to repaint an entire part because you've got a little rusty bit down inside. Just stabilise it with some touch-up paint, bit of zinc oxide or something, so it doesn't get any worse, and you can retain that factory finish, which who knows whether I go that way or not. Anyway, there we are. That's the back end out. Now I've got to clean that up, get the wiring out, clean everything up, get all the grit and sand and crap off it. Now I can take the wheel out and start removing some of the unnecessary chrome down this side. Let's get on with it. Right, as I thought with this, if you can do this kind of thing yourself, if it helps you at all, Harley Davidson's kind of factory practice has been to put like a soft rust resistant stone chip, sort of tetrasil stuff up inside here. So if you're going to scrape that, you're going to scrape it off. But if you intend to paint the mudguard inside and out, then that's absolutely fine, then scrape away. But I want to just preserve this because I may not paint it, and if I have to paint the inside, I'll end up painting the outside. The flakage isn't too bad, just a little bit on that edge and a little bit on the inside, and that can be stabilised. The paint on the outside I've yet to see, I'm going to clean that in a minute, but on the inside I've just used this soft nylon brush that is no more than a stiff toothbrush, and that's just to take all that dust out of there and leave the stone chip finish in place. And in fact, it's still soft, you can stick a fingernail in it, it's like a soft sticky stuff that prevents the water and the rust and the grit getting through. So thankfully I've got all the dirt out and left the finish, the protective finish, inside. And yeah, you could strip that all off, you could metal blast it and do it all again if you want, but this isn't a long-term build, this is a short-term makeover, and that's good enough. Clean and shiny and chrome. Right, let's do the outside and see how bad that is, or not. Just one more thing on this. Check out that design. Look at it. That lovely sweep on the ducktail fender. That's what I love about this particular model. That look right there. And whether I paint it or not, that shape will be preserved. I'm not going to go chopping and bobbing the back of this. You look at today's Harleys, they seem to have lost their way. That classical sweep at the back carries the eye from the front of the bike over the tank, down and off to the rear. It's just lovely. Again, that kind of design is just gone on modern motorcycle design today. I look around the bikes that are for sale these days and I just think the designers have lost their way. The elegance of that glorious sweep along there, they don't bother with that anymore, and that's a real shame, which is why I'm keeping it that way. Now, a very common question that I get alarmingly often is, Del, I took the back wheel out and I can't remember the order the spacers go in and washers and whatnot. So when you take your back wheel out, or even front wheel for that matter, while it's still absolutely fresh in your mind, you'll take that axle out, as you heard, everything drops out like an old bag of spanners, and then you've got to put it all back in. Just dress it back up, reassemble that shaft. So it's axle in, then it was the big spacer. You'll clean them all up and deal with everything else later on. Then it was a washer. The bracket that holds the caliper slides onto a block, but that has a washer on the inside of it. Then that goes through, and the main washer and the main nut. Now that's assembled in exactly the same way it just came apart, in the right order. So when you come to put it back together yourself, you won't forget, will you? Right, remembering this is just taking off the accessories that I don't want on the bike. This is the chrome cover on the pulley itself. The pulley's the original factory one, I can feel it underneath. I'm hoping it's in fine condition like everything else is under this chrome, because this is pitted. It could be painted, it could be replated, whatever. It's a valuable accessory. They don't cost cheap money, they are expensive. But I'm going to take it off and then put the bolts back in. Later on I'll address it properly, strip the pulley off, deal with all the chrome that's flaking and polish the rim, paint it, whatever. But for today this is just removal of accessories. And this chrome shiny cover, it ain't staying. Okay, there's the results of years of having that chrome trim ring on it. It's killed all the surface underneath. The back of it is lovely. Nothing wrong whatsoever. That's been exposed to the world, albeit on the inside of the wheel, so it's probably never been cleaned. That's the original factory finish. Lovely. On the other side, it's all peeled off. Probably because water's got in between that chrome ring and festered away in there and killed the finish right the way around. Now that would be okay, just to sand that back and paint it. It's the old tough black out, job done, but no. This pulley sadly is completely buggered. That is the reason why. All the teeth are peeling up. The chrome on the teeth is gone. If you've got a Harley, you know yourself that the pulleys and the belts are way more expensive than a chain of sprockets. They seriously are, maybe 3 times the price. This guy paid, in the invoices that I've got for this bike, £900 to have a belt, front pulley replaced, and then the labour. Now that's a lot of labour. You have to take the whole primary off, everything, clutch, front compensator, the whole lot. It's a lot of labour. Once that's been done, he's still put, or they still put, the same rear pulley back on. Don't know why anyone would do that, especially when it's in that state, because that will shorten the life of your brand new belt. The belt is new, I can see it's new. It's by no means is that a 45,000 mile belt. Now that's great to inherit a new belt and front pulley and all that labour. I haven't got to do it, excellent, but that is going to need replacing. I cannot use that because the chrome that's peeling off, they do it because it's an aluminium pulley and they put a chrome plated finish on the inside, which gives it a hard, smooth finish so it lasts a long time, because belts have to be, they're tensioned up. When you put a belt on a Harley, if you don't have a Harley, if you're watching this, you've got chains and sprockets. With Harleys or with any belt drive bike, you have to pull the pulley back against the belt and actually have twang type tension. It's quite a lot, and that pushes hard into those teeth, which means if you've got sharp little bits of chrome peeling up, it's going to cut into those teeth, the rubber teeth, and eventually just chew your belt to pieces and could even snap it long term and cause quite a nasty accident as that belt wraps around your back wheel. So honestly, if you look at your pulley and it's in that state, you need to have a long think about what you're going to do with it. Me, I don't. I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. It's going in the bin or on the wall or an ornament for the garden, and I'll get myself a new one, which is a shame because it's jolly expensive, but that's the way it goes. There we are. Now for now I'm going to bung it back on the wheel, do the bolts up loosely, well just nip them up and put it all back in, and I'll explain why at the end. Okay, got to cut some bolts down now. When these were mounted, these little lugs here, the bolts that held the rear fender on were mounted through them. Now I'm going to delete them. The bolts will be that much too long. They will stick into the fender inner area by that much and then interfere with the tyre. So in order to make sure it doesn't, I need to shorten all of the bolts that bolted through there by that much. Right, there we are, done and dusted. Day 2, Project FoXDaWG. Now I think you'll agree that was a whole heap better than it did this morning. Uncluttered, all the bling removed. It really didn't need all that, did it? You can see for yourself. Now chuffed with that, happy where it is so far. It does need lowering still. The discovery of that pulley being completely knackered and need replacing is a little bit of a disappointment, because that's going to eat a fair bit of the budget that I was going to dedicate to the shocks. So I was going to put some Burley slammer shocks on it and drop it down about 1.5 inches, but I may have to find another way to do it. One way to do it is the little metal lowering blocks you can buy. They fit into the rear shock mount and they put it further back by a given amount, and that lays the shock down a bit, which effectively lowers the rear. It does work. I've fitted them on several Sportsters in the past and they're an absolutely great way to do it. They don't look as cool as a set of trick shocks, but ultimately these shocks are in fine condition. They're working fine. There's no corrosion on them. They're not leaking. So it would be a great way to utilize those shocks, save money, and then I can dedicate that money to the pulley, which I need. I absolutely do. I cannot cut corners on that. That pulley needs to be replaced. I could go for chain and sprockets, but in the long run, that's not a good way to do it, because chain and sprockets don't last as long as a belt and pulleys. So the pulley is a wise longer term investment. They are a lot of money, but I will put a regular standard black factory one on. I'll have a hunt round so if I can find something in the small ads. It can't really be second hand because it's a wear and tear item, but we'll see what's there, we'll see what I can find. Now that brings me to the other point, that old heap of bling over there on the table. If any of you are interested in any of it, I'm going to leave it there for a week or so. So in the comments, if any of you are interested in any of it, there's that leather Corbin Gunfighter seat and backrest outfit. This is a 99 bike, so if you've got a 99 dyno, the chances are it will fit. Get in touch, we can exchange it in measurements and sizes and you can make sure it fits. All I'm looking for with any of it is a fair and reasonable price for it to put towards what I'm doing with the build. I'm trying to use that stuff, like we all do, to pay for this, so it's a neutral expense. The seat and the backrest, that's quite a big investment. It's early 1999, 2000, it's been on the bike since the beginning, but it is in fine condition and it's a Corbin leather Gunfighter seat and backrest. The rest of it, everything else, is tired old chrome. So just a token gesture in the tip cup. If you're interested in it, you pay the postage, I get it to you. You can do all sorts with it. You can have it re-chromed if you want to. That's not as expensive as you think. Or indeed you could just strip it, paint it and use it if that's what you want. But either way, if I don't do that, I'll stick it on eBay and what's left will just go in the bin, because none of it is going back on this bike. So there we are, that's it. In the next one, I'm going to do the front. I just want to grab these bars again. These are a set of drag bars. So I'm going to put those on here, but obviously I need to make some risers. At the moment the risers are too low. They'd be sitting down here clobbering the tank. That's no good, so I've got to make some risers, and that'll give it, like I said earlier, a night train vibe. That will look absolutely superb. It will go with a slammed, sleek look, with a little nose cone on the front, a completely different look to what this was when I got it. So they're going on, and the next video, therefore, I've got to make some risers. Now I've got some really cool Tech Bike Parts 1-inch clamps, which will hold those bars perfectly there. However, they aren't long enough, they're still quite low. I need to make some stanchions for them. I've got some aluminium, I'm going to make some stanchions on the lathe in the next video so I can bolt the T-bars onto this. So join us for that one, bars off, on the lathe, make the stanchions, bolt it all on. I've got to make some trick bolts to hold them as well with a single flat ground in it. So loads of fun fabrication for part 3. So there we are, thanks for watching, take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.
Put my hand around her and it felt just right, so I pulled her closer. Yeah, I pulled her closer to me. And someone yelled, "She's mine!" I thought, now that just can't be. Well, he walked on up behind us, grabbed her by